Welcome to Still with Purpose. This is Amanda and Christy.
Our goal is to dig deep and discuss real, raw subjects in pursuit of greater self-awareness, positive transformation, and healing, and to link arms and journey with you as we discover purpose and passion in life together.
Before we jump in, we'd like to ask if Still with Purpose has ever helped you feel seen, encouraged you to heal, helped you to breathe a little deeper, think differently, or reminded you that you're not alone. Please take a moment to follow the show, leave a review, and share this episode with someone you believe would get great value from it.
That simple act helps this message reach more humans, and we are so grateful for every single one of you walking this journey with us. We're so glad you're here. Let's get into today's conversation. Hi, everyone. We are here talking about the question, what would your life look like if you were truly all in, no backdoors, no plan B, no half effort and energy? Anda, what quote do you have?
Those who commit to nothing are distracted by everything. So last week we really dove into this. I want to take this down a different road this week and talk more about relationship with God. And if you can look at it from the standpoint of, if I am open to every single thing that's out there and I haven't really fully chosen into Him, then that brings in massive confusion.
And steals your motivation, right? Because you just don't have a clear path and clear desire or commitment.
And then I can do what I want when I want.
I think we all crave structure. We all crave guidance.
It's so true. When I grew up, I used to switch between my parents. One was highly disciplined and had rules and values, and the other one had no rules, but was very overprotective. But we would go see our movies, and I was 8 years old. And back then, that was a big deal. We didn't ever see our movies before you were 18, right? So I loved doing both, but I felt safer in the discipline. And I would say my step siblings were very resistant to my mom's rules and discipline because they were running free and wild and doing whatever the heck they wanted, but all their lives were in turmoil. So my stepbrother actually died driving drunk. He was the drunk driver. And I don't just throw that out lightly. That was devastating. And also to grieve that was devastating because he actually created the loss, right? But basically, that was from a marriage that's no longer in existence. So I fell out of contact with the last sibling that's alive. And they were so resistant to my mom having a safe, peaceful home, and they went totally towards chaos. And I see that in my own life, right? When I've not made a stand and committed to something, then I was distracted by everything. Everything the world has to offer, everything love has to offer, which the world doesn't even know what love is.
Well, and most of those things speak to our fleshly desires, right? They don't speak to our spiritual needs and our spiritual relationship with God. They speak to excitement and adventure and maybe some risk. And all this freedom sounds so great and exhilarating, but it's not the love and the joy and the comfort and the peace that actually makes us feel truly happy, truly joyful.
Yeah. And it's the quietest time of my whole entire life. Not a lot is going on in my life in the sense of out in the world all day long, just absorbing everything that's going on. And that's been commented on a lot. Don't you want to get out of the house? Don't you want to go dating? You're never going to meet a guy if you don't get out there. Are you on dating apps? Do you expect him to show up on your door?
You know what?
You know what
If God wants you to meet someone, you could meet somebody at the grocery store.
That's really what I've come down to because it really had to settle in. My word last year was whole and to have wholeness. And that was basically the quietest time of my life is figuring out nothing on the exterior in the world is actually going to make me feel whole. And I've gotten more done in the last probably 6 months than I have for a very long time, looking out everywhere to other people to fill voids.
You're saying you've gotten more done because you haven't been doing that?
I haven't been distracted by everything.
And it sounds like you've been very much committed, like we're saying, committed to being whole and committed to not seeking it elsewhere.
So, going back to the quote, those who commit to nothing are distracted by everything. I just think about all the modalities that are out there. Do you know that term?
I know it in the terms of logistics.
So, modalities in the health arena are different ways of healing you in a naturopathic way. That can turn into a whole world of opening yourself up for maybe awesome healing. I definitely think God put very smart people on the earth to help us heal our bodies. Also, it could be opening you up to whatever because you don't have like any kind of boundaries there. And now all of a sudden, you're doing it all, everything that's out there that might bring you peace.
But whatever avenue you're starting to look down or go down, if it's not God calling you in that direction, it's just not going to end well.
It's going to be void and dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, not being fully in opens the doors for your mind to fantasize about all the other options. But once you make a solid decision, all the other options completely fall away. And this can be in relationships too. If you're looking outside of your relationship, you are open to every option, period. If you are not, you're fully committed, then that attention is not necessary or invited in at all.
Commitment takes being intentional.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, I'm committed to something, but then when something distracts us or
Yeah.
something feels good, you quickly forget your so-called commitment
Yeah.
and you're easily swayed. We
Back
all
to
are. I can be, that's human nature, I think.
absolutely. Well, we're all swayed several times a day. And if your full commitment is to be in integrity around God, if that's your true intention, then you will go ahead and take care of all the extracurricular things that have come in through the
That's true.
side doors.
That's true. That's the umbrella commitment. So there are many things underneath that that you'll change or get in line, get in order to fulfill that higher commitment.
Yes. And until you make that commitment, you're going to be a victim of your sabotage, like we talked about last week, your crappy core belief and being right about it. So until you get really clear on what your actual commitment and intention is, all these other things are always playing all
Mhm.
day long. I mean, look at social media. We just sit there and go, oh, 10 people liked my post today. That means something about myself. 50 people liked it yesterday. So am I not as great today? It's just an endless cycle of trying to be distracted, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned this, I think it was in our last one or the one before. I second guess things a lot. It takes so much energy to second,
Yeah.
and I'm so tired of second guessing. So when I'm fully committed to following God's will and living up to God's standards, I don't have to second guess anything because what is there to second guess?
Let's talk about that. Why do you think you second guess?
I don't know. I know I've mentioned it on here before that I think it's partly my professional training, always looking for what could go wrong. And then my perfectionism, people pleasing, put it all together and it's one big second guess farm.
I think second guessing gives you the extra time to not be wrong. Maybe it's even fake humbleness because inside, you're a really smart woman. Inside, you actually probably know that you're making the right decision. But maybe you're second guessing because you have to play small in front of others so that they don't feel so inadequate.
I think it's a lot of will other people agree with how I see it? And that's what I'm saying. If I know that I'm basing decisions on my commitment to live as I feel called by God, I should have no reason to worry about how anybody else views it.
That's exactly right. You would never ask for their opinion, nor if someone tells me they feel like this is from God, what am I going to say to that? Even I felt like I heard from God on both of my marriages. So I've had people tell me in the last couple of years, well, that was just the enemy talking or whatever. Great. But I'm still committed to the fact that I feel like I heard God on that one. I hear him on everything else, and I was fully committed. So if I went through that journey, then God's going to make good out of it, basically. I'm not committed to being a loser after marriage, failing. I'm committed to figuring out what the heck is inside of me that attracts any of that. I want to be so committed to who I am in Christ. That's not even attractive to me because I'm not going to sabotage another year of my life. That's the groundedness that I've had to drop into so that I do not recreate this cycle over and over and over.
But also, as you're talking, it occurred to me too that part of being committed is also, we've talked about this many times, backing away from people and relationships that would speak negativity about a situation that you're so committed to. So for instance, I mentioned that we are downsizing in our house and material things, and I feel very much called by God to do that. But 5 to 10 years ago, there might have been other people in my life that would have said, "What are you doing? Are you crazy?" But now I'm surrounded by people who have very much said, if that's what you feel called by God to do it, and happy for you. So it matters once we're committed who we have around us speaking to our situations.
That's why we've said over and over, growth is going to create loss because the people that have gotten you this far are probably not the same people that will get you to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people are so afraid of that loss that they just stay the same. Also, we want to be a person of our word, and we've promised to be a great friend to this person. Well, now we're not keeping our word, are we? So we put these rules on ourselves that puts us in jail for the rest of our lives when I could really sit down with my friend and say, hey, this is where I'm going. And I very much understand if you don't want to support it or you think it's crazy, but I can't be in conversations like that.
Yes, I totally agree. And if we're so committed to living in God's will, and I'm talking to myself, if I'm so committed to living in God's will, going back to the second guessing, it's the people probably that I shouldn't be concerned with how they view things or what their opinion is that I'm letting bother me.
And that's only because it's a great sabotage mechanism. Oh, my best friend doesn't support me in this new venture. I guess I'll focus on that for 3 weeks and cry about it and get angry, create a lot of drama around it. Or I could just say, this is the path I'm going down. I'd love for you to cheer me on, and I'm totally cool if you don't.
For me, it would never be that dramatic. It would probably just make me self-conscious about a decision I'm making. And so I'd be too fearful of pushing forward. So it would keep me from progressing in whatever situation I'm facing. Wouldn't that give the enemy cause to celebrate, right?
And since we've started this podcast, I know you very well now because we've had a lot of hours of conversation, right? More than the normal friendship. And just what you've created in the last 6 months, even the shifts of getting completely unconcerned with what people are thinking, and you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're basically, I want to minimalize my life to where I have so much time with my family that you can't pay for that.
Well, and two, as you know, it took me getting to a point of realizing none of this that I've worked so hard for has brought joy. It's not any of this stuff, or it's not the schedule that keeps me running ragged that's bringing joy. And until I knew that in my heart and in my head, you hear those things all the time, but until you feel it, until you know it, until you feel God's calling to make a change, that's the only time it's going to click.
And I think you got committed to not losing any more joy.
Yeah. I mean, I also got committed to, I want to serve in the way God wants to use me. And I don't feel I can do that if I'm so focused on all these other things.
Right. He's like, wait, you should only actually care what I think.
Yeah. Free up your time to do what I want you to do.
I remember one time he said, I don't know why you keep asking all these people's opinions. It's just creating a ton of confusion. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop doing that. Because I already knew what I was supposed to do. Honestly, it's what I'm doing right now. And that was probably 8 years ago.
And look at the time that's flown by since, right?
Yeah. He's like, okay, cool. Can we run now? Because I'm ready for you to get out of your diapers. I'm ready to really bless you and bless others through you. Anytime you're ready, girl.
Last episode we said it, but I'll say it again. It requires faith.
Absolutely. And the reason I have faith is because of all the choices I've made that turn into complete train wrecks. And I'm just lying in the ashes of the fire pit going, "What happened, God?" He's
Yeah.
like, "Come on,
Yeah.
girl. I have something better. As soon as you're ready, I'm ready to go."
We can't understand why life isn't joyful and amazing and why we're not content after we've made the decisions that have gotten us there. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over again and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
How many times is it going to take me to figure it out?
Yeah, there's a really cool piece in the movie The Shack, and God's like, "I knew that you were going to make that choice 75 times, and I've loved you through every single time you chose it. And I'm so excited that we're at 76 and you're ready to go."
That maybe you're making a different choice now?
Yeah.
That maybe you trust me enough to do something different?
Yeah. Do you know how annoyed we'd be with ourselves if we were God?
The Bible says to forgive, what is it? Not 7 times, but 77 times. Did I quote that correctly?
I don't know. I just read it recently and it did not sound like how everyone says it.
Let's see. In Matthew 18:21 and 22, Jesus tells Peter to forgive others not just 7 times, but 70 times seven, or 77 times in some translations, symbolizing limitless, continuous forgiveness.
Which is what he has for us.
Yes.
We do
But
not have that for others. We would be
no,
so annoyed with ourselves. It's so funny that we have expectations of others because we don't even like ourselves that much. We're not even that impressed with ourselves.
I'd be so frustrated with me if I were God.
You know,
But yeah, you're right. Like he's there, he's sovereign, he's faithful, he's with us no matter what. But I try to be so forgiving and it's so hard. I
do you
said
know
it in the
what
last
try?
episode. Like I get frustrated when somebody doesn't learn something quickly and make the same mistake over again.
That's the hypocritical way.
Yeah,
I can't stand this in you, and I also can't stand it in me.
right. Maybe that's why I can't stand it in others because I can't stand it when I do it, which happens
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, which is why you go into perfection
Yeah.
because you're trying to not be that hypocrite and it just creates more hypocrisy.
Well, and going back to when we realize we're all human, we all make mistakes, we're all on the same level, we're all equal. God loves us all the same, and God's forgiving all of us over and over and over again. There's strength in that, there's comfort in that.
For sure. Let's go into procrastination because I think that's important. Procrastination is definitely a large distraction, in my opinion. So if you are procrastinating or finding excuses to not do something, then you have to admit to yourself that you are not 100% in. Because if you were 100% in, you would never procrastinate. Belief, worthiness, capability is lacking. Something is lacking, and therefore you're allowing the distraction of procrastination. Also, if I have no commitments, this is very telling about how much I am choosing to play a small game and hope nobody notices. And I also get to blame any and everything for my life as it is. So, what am I committed to then? Fear, depression, my victim story, the words of others. This is absolute laziness and a waste of gifts God has given me. I am accountable to no one and just floating through life. And I feel like it's a total take. Nothing changes until you change.
That's like what I was saying until I reached a point where I realized I got to get right with God. I got to get priorities straight. I got to make changes. I have to. Nobody
Yep.
else is going to do it, right? Being lazy about it does not make anything happen. Relying on somebody else and then blaming somebody else because it didn't happen or whatever the tactic may be to get out of it. It's a total individual responsibility with self and God. And
Yeah.
until we come to terms with that and ready to make changes,
When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
nothing will ever change until then.
So if you're sick of hearing yourself complain and be disappointed and distracted and unfulfilled, and everyone around you is not meeting your expectations, like we talked about last week, it's time to look in the mirror and make a solid commitment to what you are committed to now.
Mhm.
And everything will start falling away. It's really cool to watch.
It's funny. This reminds me. I was telling a friend of mine the other day that we were going to move and we purchased this new smaller house. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. You've been talking about this for so long." And it dawned on me that I've been talking about this for years, and talk is such a good game. You can have all these grand plans and ideas, but until you actually act on them or do something, it's just talk. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes talk can make us feel like we're doing something because you have that intention to someday do it, but it amounts to zero until you actually make the changes or do the thing or go after it. Talk means nothing.
There's a quote by Brian Clemmer is results are often harsh, but always fair. So you either have them or you don't. This quote goes around your relationship with God too. If you aren't firm in that relationship, not legalistic rules following, I'm talking pure relationship, then so many things that the world has to offer you will be insane distractions because the enemy does not care about you being close to God. We're
Hmm.
clear on that. If I don't have a firm foundation, I will crumble and join in anything. I will be a completely self-absorbed, flesh-feeding entity.
Well, again, we all have this desire to fill this void and to feel loved and belong and to feel secure and feel confident. You can only find those things truly in God, but we're going to try to seek them other ways. And the enemy is going to falsely make us believe that we've found it's not going to turn out well. So you got to have that firm foundation in God, or yeah, everything looks good and flashy and like it's going to make us feel better.
I think every time we talk about God, which is pretty much every podcast, I just start thinking about acquaintances and friends that I've come across over the years. They're so angry at God because a human has ruined their relationship or their understanding of who God is. And I can't imagine listening to our podcast and being like, I don't get this. I don't get what you're saying. How do you have a relationship with God? And I think it's really coming to the end of yourself is when that happens.
Mhm.
When finally you just do not want to create one more avenue and run down it and find out it's just another crappy decision or sabotage or any of that stuff. Eventually, you can get to the point where you just say, I got nothing.
Mhm.
I truly have no more ideas.
You're absolutely right. We were talking about in our last episode having expectations for others. I think it's when we have expectations for ourselves and we continually disappoint ourselves. I don't want to feel disappointment one more time because of something that I've done. So
So,
I'm recognizing right now, like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I surrender. God, please make the decisions, take the reins, take my life, take my heart, take it all, because I don't want to disappoint myself one more time or you or anyone else.
and I'd say to the people that might not have a relationship with God or hate God or anything going on there, give it a chance. Go full out for 3 months, see what happens.
It really does require, though, that death to self, letting go of that ego. We all have it. Surrendering, submitting, recognizing that I can't do it. I don't have the wisdom. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have any of it to do it myself, God. Only you.
And isn't it your understanding that's the only time he can actually step in? Because he gave us self-will, and until we will it into existence, he's not going to come in and do it. He's such a gentleman. He's not going to push his way into your life.
He doesn't want to command us to follow him. He wants us to choose.
Choice, yeah.
And he, you know, by sending Jesus to die on the cross, has offered us the perfect gift of salvation, but we have to receive it. We have to accept it. And in order to do that, we let go of ourselves and say, okay, you're the only way. That requires choosing to receive that gift.
It requires you to take yourself off the cross.
We can't do anything.
No.
We are sinful, easily swayed by Satan and all of our fleshly desires. We're just incapable.
It really comes down to a question of how long do you have to pay for your mistakes?
When you don't have to.
Because he's ready and willing and waiting.
And
So
he
it's
paid the price.
that's what I mean about taking yourself off the cross. You've hand nailed yourself up to a cross and you're just dying on the cross for all your crap choices and decisions and woundings and victimization and being the perpetrator and the victim. All the things, they just roll into a big ball of crap. And until you're willing to see that maybe there's a different way and it's not yours,
To see that there is a different way, that God laid it all out for us. We just have to let go of ourselves and choose it.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed this another deep conversation.
And going back to the quote, we have to be committed to it. It's not
Yeah.
just oh, that sounds good today and maybe tomorrow will be different. No, no, it's okay, my life, I'm turning it over to you, God, and I
Yeah.
want nothing more. I'm committed to listening to your will, seeking your will, following your will. It's a commitment. And when you do that, the other distractions aren't distractions anymore because it's not even desirable, you
Yeah,
know?
your old life is repulsive,
Yes.
truly.
Oh, what did I hear? I heard something on social media the other day, and it was a man describing about how when you come to know the Lord, it's like when you're in a room and you can't smell anything, and then all of a sudden you can smell and it's just putrid. It's just, how did I miss this smell? It's so awful. That's how it feels like once you commit to God and turn away from the things that are not of Him. And you're like, how
Yeah.
did it not smell to me before?
How
It's
did
just,
I accept that for myself?
yes. And how was I around it? How was I part of it? How did I feel like that brought me joy when it's just so clearly now future? It's a good word for it. This has been a really great discussion. I've loved this. Let's look at some questions for the week. Reflect on, where in your life are you half in, saying you're committed, but leaving space for excuses or distractions to win? And what's the real reason behind your lack of full commitment? Is it fear, doubt, worthiness, or a weak why? And if you choose to be 100% all in on one thing this week, what distractions would instantly lose their power over you?
That should be plenty to write on.
Should be. I think that last one, said another way, if you committed to God and really committed your life to God, what things might turn putrid and smell for you?
Quite a bit, probably.
No kidding. Thank you, everyone. We'll hope to see you again next week.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We know your time is valuable and we're truly grateful you spent part of it with us. We hope this conversation stays with you and helps you move through the week with more clarity, peace, and purpose.
Be sure to visit us at stillwithpurpose.com, and there you can read our bios, sign up for email encouragement and updates on exciting announcements, and also join our private Facebook community.
And if Still with Purpose has encouraged you in any way, please remember to follow, leave a quick review, and share with a friend. It helps more people find these conversations. Have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you next time.